You want to get that about 3/4 of the way in, and as soon as you push that all the way in, it's going to energize the secondary windings. You don't want to stand in front of this guy in case he blows.
What's up, guys? You're watching Bobsdecline. In today's video, we had a complaint from the Department of Transportation that a whole bunch of highway lights were out. These things are like 70 feet tall, fed by underground wires. I was pretty sure it was a result of some vandalism, copper theft. Turns out it was a broken cutout. I hope the crew hasn't quite showed up yet. Just before we get started here, guys, I want to do a quick shout out to one of our viewers, Rupee53. Maybe it's Roop. I'm not sure. I don't know this guy from a hole in the ground or girl, but I see the name pop up in the comment section quite a bit. This individual answers a lot of viewers' questions, and most of the time, if not all the times, I pretty well agree 100% with his answer. He seems to be well educated. He contributes a lot to the channel, so I wanted to let you know that doesn't go unnoticed. We all learn a lot from each other every day in life in general. So I appreciate all your input into the channel and appreciate you watching. Thanks again. Now let's get into it.
Alright guys, so hopefully you can hear me alright. We're reaching a traffic circle on a highway. This Padman can't fall my feet. These highway lights that are about, probably 70 feet tall. So they complain that there's no power at their disconnect, which is just outside of the screen. And I figured I might be able to capture it in my troubleshooting here. So this is the only step I did before hitting record, was check for voltage on the secondary leads, and we've got all zeros. Got our neutral down here, that should be 120. That guy should be 120. And we're getting all zeros. So there is a chance that the bayonet fuse blew. There's a ton of copper theft going around right now, so someone might have tried to steal some copper, keep these lights, maybe pop that fuse. If that fuse is popped, that elbow is still energized, 7200 volts. So before we check the fuse, I'm going to see if I can get any voltage in that primary elbow. I'm going to bleed off any pressure in that tank. A little bit of air pressure. Now there's a cap over this elbow. I don't want to pull that elbow right off, so we're going to have to be careful here. So just a rubber cap which exposes a point in the cable where we can check for potential using our potential indicator. That on the lowest setting for underground. And we're not showing any voltage. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Hopefully you guys can hear me all right. So we're gonna put that cap back on. Might as well check that fuse just while we're here. So that's called a bayonet fuse. The first step to checking that bayonet fuse is to bleed off any air pressure in the pad mount, which we've already done. And you don't want to stand right in front of it. We're going to stand to the side of the unit. We're going to simply give our stick a roll, which opens the cap of the fuse, and give it a quick jerk out. Now this thing's full of oil, so we want to take that out slowly. You can see there's a little pad there that catches any of that loose oil. Starting to rain pretty hard here now. The actual fuse is just this bottom portion here. So we touch the two ends together. Should get a beep. I don't have my truck today, so Get a real weak beep. I don't think you guys can hear that on the camera, but we are getting a beep, so that fuse is good. So we're going to reinstall the fuse. So when reinstalling the fuse, just the reverse steps. We're going to line this guy up. And it's really raining now. You want to get that about 3/4 of the way in, and as soon as you push that all the way in, it's going to energize the secondary winding. You don't want to stand in front of this guy in case he blows. And lock it in place. So we're going to launch this pad up. Camera is absolutely soaked here now. It's raining like crazy. Basically what we're going to do now, we're going to head back to the truck, bring up the maps, figure out where the feed, you can see the light behind me there, see where the feed's coming from for this guy, see if we can't find a cutout open that's feeding this pad mount transformer. But basically what we're going to do now, bring up our map. I'm not even sure where this feed comes from, to tell you the truth. And a couple streets over, I'm going to have to continue on around this roundabout, across the causeway into the city, loop around. Got a little bit of driving to do just to get off this clover leaf here. So that's even if you find a cutout that's open with underground like that, it's not really a good idea just to close it in. There could easily be a fault in the cable. We'd have to get we'd call in our electrical mechanics to measure the cable before we close that in. I think would be the best decision for this one, especially with all the attempted copper thefts. It's a pretty highly populated area. We don't want to just energize a cable. If we found an animal inside the pad mount laying across a short or something in the secondary, or the fuse blown or whatever, found an obvious indication as to why that fuse blew, we could isolate it, clear it, fix it, close that fuse back in. But if we're not finding any faults, I don't think it would be a good decision for me to just close that in tonight. But let's head off down the road and take a closer look. Well, that's a good sign, actually. We found the problem, or what I hope's the problem. Cutout is broke all to pieces. So that's the cutout. So that lead going up to the top of the primary, that's still energized. That lightning arrestor is still energized, and that cutout body, the little piece dangling on the right is energized. So that piece in the center between those three pieces of porcelain is not. If it was, that pole probably would have caught fire by now. So a lot of times with these broken cutouts, we got to kill the overhead line in order to remove that lead safely. This one here can probably go up two guys, hold the lead clear while the other one removes the tap. If that lead hits that bracket the lightning arrestor is on, there'd be a massive arc. It would not be good. You wouldn't want to be anywhere near that. So we'll have to take a closer look to evaluate whether we can do that energized or not. And then you can see the riser cable. It's lined right up with the shadow of the pole. We're starting to lose our daylight here. But that lead coming down, going down towards the triplex, that's actually the bottom portion of the cutout. The cutout door is still actually hanging there. So we're gonna have to replace that cutout. It's a pretty good chance that where it is a porcelain cutout, it is common for them to break. So we use all polymer cutouts now. So I think we'll change that cutout and try closing the line in. We'll close it from the ground with the extendo stick, just in case there is a chance that there was a fault on the line that caused that to happen. If the cutout door opened and then the cutout fell apart, we'll take a closer look at the fuse but I'm gonna predict that we're gonna be safe to give that a try and close that in tonight. Now, in order to go up in the high voltage, I gotta have a second guy with me. They're at a broken pole truck, get a pole top that come down on a truck. I had 2 of those today already, actually. One of them, I gotta show you guys, I got like a 10-second video of one of them. I've mentioned in a few videos before that when a guy wire breaks or a telephone line breaks, that the tension could cause it to fly up into the high voltage, and that's exactly what happened this morning. The car flew off the road, it was rolling, went right in between the pole and the guy wire, clipped the guy broke, it flung and wrapped right up around the 3-phase. The oil recloser was closing in, opening, massive light show. Pretty scary stuff. And eventually the recloser locked out. Actually, it was an impeller eruptor on this one. So I've got a quick shot. The guy wire wrapped up around the 3-phase. It knocked 600 people out of power. I was able to clear it with hot sticks and gloves and get the power back on within, I'm going to say, 45 minutes once the scene was secured as far as the police and fire department were concerned. So that was an interesting one. There was so far today 3 vehicle accidents. So we're gonna call the other guys. They're probably gonna be a while getting here. I might have to get someone from home, which is no big deal. I might as well grab my truck. My truck is in the shop. Actually, I'll give you guys a real quick tour of this truck. I'm not gonna start going through all the details because it's not my truck. It's another guy's truck. But let's take a quick look at it. It's quite a bit different from mine. It does have a man bucket on it, and this is what we use to set our poles. A couple reels, triplex mounted on here, all kinds of spare wire. We use this truck for a lot of trouble calls. A couple spare cross arms. I think this boom reaches about 50 feet. It's got three sections to it. And the auger. This guy up here is what we use to set anchors. We drop the auger in the ground, leave it in the ground, pop this guy out, we attach a helix and anchor rod, screw them in. Nothing overly exciting. I think I've got a video I posted last year with this exact truck set in a pole at a vehicle accident. If you guys ever want to check that out, I'm gonna head off and pick up my little truck. Once the guys get here, it's probably gonna be real dark by then. I might be able to get a few shots of the process changing the cutout. We've all seen working on cutouts before, I think, for the regular viewers anyways. But we might get a few shots. Basically, we're gonna have to have a work permit. It's a radial feed. There's no alternate feed for that cable. We're going to check for voltage in it, check for potential. Install our ground on the cable, on the lead, on the cable. We've got lots of clamps from the overhead. Once that lead's removed, pop a new cutout on, hook the new one up, take the grounds off, close her in, pray it doesn't go bang. That's it. Alright, so we got a hold of the guys. They're just finishing up on that other job. Vehicle accident, the pole didn't actually break. A bunch of wires come down. So we're just at the shop here now. I can't kind of show you openly everything here for security reasons, but I can walk around with the camera pointed up my nose. We're super lucky. We used to have all of our trucks parked outside, and we come across this place, I'm gonna say maybe 5-6 years ago, and I'll take a walk around while that door is opening. It's absolutely massive. You can take a tandem axle truck and drive in circles around here. We don't have our whole fleet in here right now. Quite a few of the trucks are at the shop after coming home from that big storm. So I'm gonna grab my personal computer, change all my gear over, I'm gonna head back across town and get that cutout changed out. Alright, it feels so good to be back in my own truck. Let's head back over to the call. There's 2 guys meet me there. One's gonna ground. We'll set up both of our trucks
and I imagine I'll be shutting off my camera for that. I don't have my helmet cam, and even then we're going to be handling a live lead, clearing that away from the bottom of the bracket, which is grounded where the lightning arrestor is, and while the other guy removes it. So I don't want to put anyone on the spot by having the camera rolling during live work like that. So we're going to shut the camera off. Pretty much going to do exactly as I explained a few minutes ago. Control that lead, isolate it, put a ground on the other side. I'm not going to go through the work permit process in this video. We've seen it a few times. I'll do it again in a future video. Once the new cutout is changed, we're simply going to tap it back on, put a new fuse in, close her in. I'll probably capture that. We're going to be closing it in from the ground, so I'll probably capture that on the video. So we'll see you guys in about an hour. Yep, good to go. She's all lit up now. Brand new cutout, we're all set. Alright guys, so that's it. We've got a brand new cutout up there. If you notice towards the end of the video, we closed the switch in from the ground. That's because there was still a chance that there was a bad cable or something. We did inspect the pad mount. I was pretty confident that was the issue. If I had reason to suspect that the cutout didn't just break, I would have had mechanics come in and measure that cable for sure. That's one thing when you're troubleshooting. Sometimes you'll find a lead burn off. You'll go to patrol the line. There's the problem. It's not necessarily the problem. Sometimes it's a fault down the line that increased the current, which burns off the lead. So got to make sure to be very thorough and check everything. So thanks for stopping in. As usual, guys, I've got to head home and stop by the rink to see my young fella on the ice. See you guys soon.